Police and the army are currently involved in a crime prevention operation in Dunoon in the Western Cape. It's been dubbed Operation Lockdown. My colleague, ENC reporter Ronald Masinda, is joining us now live from Dunoon. Ronald, good morning. It sounds like it's a big operation. Of course, we saw those disturbances recently in Dunoon. Is that in response to that? Is that why the police and the army have decided to go to Dunoon this morning?
Yes, a very good morning to you, Bradana, from Dunoon, where the situation remains tense here on the ground, where a protest which essentially began when taxi associations were up in arms with the treatment that they were receiving from law enforcement over permits that they weren't given to operate in a number of routes here, weren't given to them. So I'm going to ask my colleague Asana to just pan across, just to give you a sense of the heavy, not only police presence, but also the SANDF that has been deployed in the area. Since we've been here, we've seen a number of people being searched by the SANDF, primarily people saying that it's because of the strike action, and others really saying that's not really, because this is a hot spot for criminals, and that the SANDF has been here for that reason. But for more insight of what's happening on the ground, I am going to bring my first guest, which is the ward councillor of the area, Mr. Lubabalo Makaleni. Thank you so much for your time, sir. First of all, just give us a sense of when the strike took place and what are the main reasons behind it.
Look, the main reasons for the strike to take place is the impoundment of the taxis. And that's the operators, which are drivers, took a decision that they're going to park the taxis, and they started the protest. And after that, owners were informed. Then we started approaching the owners to find out what's going on, and we, as community leaders, spoke to them to say that the strike must end, because children are not going to school, people are not going to work, the city of Cape Town cannot come and clean the area. There's a lot of issues that are happening. People cannot go to clinics and stuff. So we spoke to them to see if the strike cannot end.
Now, the city of Cape Town has hit back, saying that it seems like the taxi associations seem to think that they are above the law. Do you share those sentiments?
Look, there are a lot of issues here that were not looked into when the city of Cape Town was busy with the process of buying the operation licenses from the taxi associations. Issues of overcrowding, that just happened 10 years ago. Now there's a lot of people and there's not enough transport. Buses are not enough, which is my city buses, are not enough to transport people. Taxi association, on the other hand, they decided to buy more taxis and operate, knowing very well that they sold their permits. So these issues need to be resolved by both parties, of course, with the community leaders and business sector to be part of those negotiations to see how best we can deal with this situation, because this is not on. It shouldn't be happening.
Now, the SANDF has since come to this area to try and resolve these issues. Was it warranted for them to be here? Is it as bad as it seems?
Now, it's unfortunate that there was no proper communication between the SANDF and the leaders on the ground, because just last night, our meeting last night resolved that the strike should be stopped from tomorrow going forward. There's a public meeting at 6 o'clock tonight to communicate that to the public, for the taxi association to apologize to the community, because no one was expecting this. All of us were caught off guard, so we arranged that meeting for 6 o'clock.
Let me just come in there quickly, because there seems to be a perception that the SANDF is essentially here to try and curb the crime in the area and not for the protest action. Do you agree?
I was not expecting SANDF. Nothing was communicated to me as a ward councillor. But that's what I hear this morning, that they are here to curb crime and to search people and all of that. It's a coincidence because they are coming at the time when the protest was reaching the peak. So you would know exactly the strategy of the SANDF in this instance.
We've seen pictures, we've seen visuals of trucks being set alight. We've seen My City buses being set alight. Just here down the road, a My City station is defunct. Does this justify the protest action?
You know, that is an unfortunate part. When there's a protest, people tend to ban the most important facilities that we fought for, you know, that are servicing this community. That's an unfortunate part. And when we speak to the taxi association, they are denying this, that they are banning trucks, buses, stoning cars. They said that's not what they are doing. All what they've done, they just park the taxis. That's what they are saying. But we know very well, of course, that they cannot say that we are banning. Do you understand what I'm saying? But also, criminals are taking advantage of the situation. They are doing their own operations. So we cannot say it's only taxi association. Criminals are also part of this thing.
All right, Makaleni, we will have to leave it there, sir. All right, that was the ward councillor, Mr. Lubabalo Makaleni, just telling us, Bratan, that much of the protest action and the damages that have taken place here are not really from the taxi associations here in Dunoon, but also it's been criminal activities, people trying to take a chance in terms of what's been happening here since last week. Today, day 7 of the actual strike.
Thank you very much, Ronald Masinda.